From what started as a juice company and one brick and mortar, now 3 locations around Kansas City, now over 120 Whole Foods.
There's been times where I find myself in tears, just from the sheer weight of what's being built with no blueprint.
Your grandmother, like so many of our grandmothers, unfortunately, type 2 diabetes, the hypertension, high blood pressure, all the things that really these chronic illnesses that plague us. You saw this and you said, I don't want to succumb to this as my lifestyle. Because I think there are so many people who say, it costs too much. It's too healthy to eat right. It's too healthy.
I want Ruby Jeans Juicery to be the most edifying, most intentional, most impactful juice brand that has ever existed, with my Blackness not being a qualifier.
Welcome to Vaughn Powers Talks, where we don't just scratch the surface. We dive deep into the lives of some of the world's most influential change makers. I'm your host, Brandi Harvey. Y'all, today we got a good one. This is where my internet friends come to sit in the seat. Chris Goode is a visionary entrepreneur, community healer, and the founder of Ruby Jeans Juicery, a wellness brand born from personal loss and fueled by purpose. Named after his late grandmother, Ruby Jean, who passed from type 2 diabetes, Chris turned grief into a movement for health equity in Black and underserved communities. Chris made history as the first Black man to have a cold-pressed juice brand sold in Whole Foods, and has grown Ruby Jeans into a national symbol of resilience, access, and radical wellness that ships across the U.S. His work has been featured in Nat Geo, Disney, Good Morning America, and Black Enterprise, just to name a few. Chris believes that health is freedom, and he's committed to making that freedom accessible to everyone, starting at home in Kansas City. Vaughn Powers Talks welcome Chris Goode to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
So good to sit here on your platform. Thank you.
Yeah, there's always a story, you guys. There's always a story. Because we met online on Instagram. I think you met my brother-in-law, Ben, first online. And we were introduced to your juices. You sent us some juices. This is like during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And we were like, oh my God, these juices are amazing. Like these tasty, okay? If y'all he has some fresh pressed juices, but y'all ain't had these yet. Yeah. So now you're here, my Instagram friend.
In the flesh. I'm real. I'm not in a square anymore. I am right here in front of you.
Let's talk about it. Talk about resilience. Talk about this radical movement of wellness in the Black community. That really was fueled by your own loss of your grandmother.
Absolutely. First and foremost, I give my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ his praise, because I don't get the ability to even speak any word that I'm about to say without his presence, and that's for real for me. And my grandmother, what she didn't know, what she didn't have access to, who didn't sit in front of her. She couldn't go on the Instagram and check out your platform and hear, to be edified, all of these amazing guests that you've had. She didn't have that ability to hear from any of them. And so now, by the grace of God, I get the privilege of being able to intercept that for another Ruby Jean to come.
Yeah. Your grandmother, like so many of our grandmothers, unfortunately, type 2 diabetes, the hypertension, high blood pressure, all the things that really these chronic illnesses that plague us. Yeah. You saw this and you said, I don't want to succumb to this as my lifestyle.
Absolutely. When I was 14, my grandmother passed away. And so I didn't have a relationship with understanding how you treat your body, how you eat, how much you do or don't move really deeply.
Yeah.
At that point, I just missed my grandma. And I thought, when she passed, I thought it made sense. I'm like, oh, this is what happens. Grandma's old. But my grandma was 61 years old.
And that is so young.
Way too young.
So young.
Way too young for, something that's not this rare one in a million situation to happen. Something that we can prevent, like fried chicken ain't that good. It's good, but it ain't that good.
Yeah. And so many of us believe it's too good to give up. Because I'm sure you live in Kansas City, which is like the home of barbecue. Yes. Home of barbecue. There are a rib shack, a fried chicken shack on every corner in Kansas
Everywhere.
City.
Yep.
You know,
Fried fish.
I've only
fried
been
chicken.
once.
Drove through. But you could, I mean, that's enough to smell the barbecue.
Yeah.
You don't got to be there that long.
You know what? I went to Kansas City, Chris, oh my God, for a National Baptist Convention.
Oh.
I went to Kansas City for a National Baptist Convention. And trust me, they did not sell me.
Yeah. It wasn't memorable enough.
No, them Baptists was cutting up, baby, down there in Kansas City. It was not giving edification.
Oh, we got to talk about that.
That's offline. Listen, so I have, I actually went to Kansas City again.
How long ago was this?
That had to have been in it was when I started Young Fit and Fly, so that was 2010, probably. 2010. Okay. Yeah, that was probably my last. That was my last.
Different city,
time.
I would say, from 10 to 15. It's grown a lot. A lot of the same things are, still present, but it's evolved in some ways, some topical ways.
Yeah, I mean, your business is in the heart of our community.
It is,
and there are some ups and downs that come with having a business in our community, and so I want you to talk about that because you've really planted and rooted yourself in a community that does not necessarily get fresh pressed juices and not seeing the gentrified yoga mats and green juices. You planted yourself there for a real reason.
Yeah, very real reason. So our business is on Troost Avenue, which has always historically been the dividing line of Kansas City. Black people, minorities, stay east of Troost, and this was written into covenants and legal documents. And then the side that our business is on, the west side, was for the more affluent, for white people. And this was legality as created by J.C. Nichols. And so Ruby Jeans is the first ever 100% health-focused business to ever exist in the history of Kansas City on the east side.
Wow.
In the history of our city. And it's still that case. And so I say that, on the surface with like, man, wow, God, like said I would do that. But then my second brain is like, dang, I'm 40 years old and I get to say that? We've been a city for a very long time. And so our neighborhood it's never been deemed worthy of having something that's good for you, something that edifies, something that lifts you up, something that adds longevity to your timeline. And, because we planted ourselves in such a way, it doesn't like immediately, because this is a noble thing, eliminate the inherent struggle of being placed there. Yeah. So we've been broken into 8 different times.
You posted on your social when they vandalized and broke through the door, the glass, and
you saw the video.
Yeah, I saw the video. Yeah.
And this, that feeling is sickening. It's a super sickening feeling. Waking my baby up, my wife is hearing me on the phone. I'm talking to my COO or I'm talking to the security company or the police, whatever it is that particular time. And that it's always early in the morning and there's like this sobering feeling that comes, because we've gotten a lot of acclaim by building this brand up to such a level. But in those moments, we're like at our just like basis. And I found a way to even find gratitude for those moments because the people, if somebody breaking into a juice bar at 3:00 in the morning, they sick.
Yeah, cause ain't no money up in there.
We don't even take cash, Brandi. We stopped taking cash 4 years ago, and so there's a detachment from reality when something like that is happening, and it's painful. But I found a way to count it joy, make it a reason to stay even more rooted because this is why you're here. Yeah. You didn't come here expecting this rosy disposition or this isn't an affluent neighborhood. You know what the challenge is when you come here. And so you can't run when the reality of the circumstance here faces you.
Yeah. I love that because I think it lends to the commitment that you have for the community, that even though wrongs are going to happen. There are going to be things that don't go my way. There are going to be people that come to try to dismantle, disrupt, or hurt. But I'm still committed to the cause of what this is.
Or it wasn't real in the first place. It was spoken to be real, but it wasn't real because there's no way to even for you to sit here, there's no way to sit here without these valleys, without these moments where it challenges us. Like, all right, what you gonna do now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 10 years, you're celebrating 10 years of business, 10 years of building this brand, which has really from one juice bar, one brick and mortar, has gone to 2 locations in Kansas City, right?
So we have 2 locations in Kansas City, one in Springfield, Missouri.
So 3 brick and mortars. And now in
Well,
over
3 locations in Kansas City, Missouri. Sorry about that.
so 3 locations, and you're now in over 120 Whole Foods across the country.
Yep.
I mean, talk about some hills and valleys. Talk
Right.
about some late nights, early mornings.
The earliest mornings, I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and like to even hear you say 10 years, I kind of like have to say it again. Like, yeah, man, 10
Yeah.
years. Because where we started, I didn't start at the very beginning in 2015. Thinking about Whole Foods at all. I didn't have this product in my. I just knew that I needed to do something that gave honor to my grandmother, but honored other people, and then allowed us a place, a safe place, a non-pretentious place, a place that feels like home, a place that looks like home, that has our flavor, that has our comfort level, that has our ease, for us to be able to say, hey, that's for me too. And now not in a way that says, hey, this is for us and you can't come in here,
Yeah.
but in a way that keeps our arms open, and says like, yeah, this is for us, but it's for you too. Come on, pull up.
Yeah. When you got into Whole Foods, how did it shift your mindset? Because to go from brick and mortar to then going into a big distributor like a Whole Foods, you got to up your game in a lot of ways.
A whole lot of ways.
Yeah.
They have so many silos, and so they have a legal department, a marketing department, a corporate office. You've got to talk to this person about cyber. I remember when we opened our location at Whole Foods, and they were like, can you connect me with your cyber person or whatever, your IT person? And I basically just was like, put the phone on the other ear, like, hey, this is Chris, is your IT guy. So, it's just me dealing with all these different facets, and it forces you, it expands you in a way where you learn. And Whole Foods is such a standard in the natural health space that it sets you up for other places. Because if you accomplish the hurdles of a Whole Foods, then it kind of clears the pathway. And so if I want to go into this next location or this next business, I know the things that they're going to ask. I understand the insurance requirements. I understand the A, the B, and the C now. So having them as a partner early and having them see us early, like organically see us not approaching them, it's been a godsend.
Yeah. I mean, brand recognition of Whole Foods, but I mean, have people come to you with a little bit of backlash because of sometimes people look at Whole Foods right now. They've been going through the media and having their moments of some GMO products and some bioengineered products. Have people had some sort of backlash to you because that's not your product at all?
No,
Yeah.
none. I mean, honestly, the opposite. People are excited because they've given us the ability to have access to Atlanta, access to Charlotte, access to LA, Chicago. They've been able to put us in spaces where we have the bandwidth to grow. And so people, they've kind of disassociated the behemoth with us. And it's like, hey, they've made space for them. We can rock with that.
Good. I'm so happy because I think sometimes we will knock ourselves out of the box for these headlines to happen, and we'll say, oh, well, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But I want you to talk to every business owner who's listening right now because they might not have a Whole Foods in their sites, but they want to go to the next level. What would be the first thing that you would tell them to do?
I think that like when we go to expand in the likes of a Whole Foods, they have certain standards. And I would say identify what their standards are and ask yourself the hard questions. Is this product, is it going to surpass those standards? Be ready before that conversation happens. Because if we want opportunity to meet our brands, to meet our businesses, we got to do the work to set it up. Now, I got a special scenario where they gave me time. We started a brick and mortar, but they wanted me to have that product ready then. And so then I had time to build every piece around the wheel. And so I would say, depending on what your product is, figure out what every single piece is around the wheel and go buy the other products in that space. I done bought so many bottles of juice, you know, that are at Whole Foods, that are at wherever. If I see juice, I'm buying it because I want to understand, what does their label look like? How do they market? You know, how does it feel? Is their website on it? All those little intricacies, they can be identified by, because if you want to start a toothpaste line, they've been making toothpaste for forever.
Yeah.
And so you should know everything about all the toothpaste that's out there, and then what's going to set your toothpaste apart. What's different about it? It's just another toothpaste? You know, do you use charcoal in yours? What's the deal with it?
Yeah. I love that because I think that so often we get so caught up in what the product that we have and, oh, it's better.
Yeah.
My thing better than all.
Sight unseen.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But you've got to learn the market.
Have to.
You have to learn what your competition is doing, what is separating them from you, what is separating them from the pack. And I think that oftentimes so many people, they miss that mark because they don't want to go do the real research to own their space.
At competition, you know, it's inevitable, right? And so either you lean into it in a graceful way or you shy away from it in this way that like traps you in conformity and complacency of where you are, when really being able to identify with other people's motion, their products, it'll allow you to see like, oh, this is why we're different, and be able to articulate that because they've been making juice for a long time.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that there's ever been juice made with the intentionality of this juice. And I know that, but I know it because I've had juice from coast to coast. I order people's juice offline and see how it shows up, you know, so I can see like, okay, what was the experience like? And I'm always evaluating our product to say, what's next? How do we improve?
Yeah, how do we improve? I mean, from what started as a juice company and one brick and mortar, now 3 locations around Kansas City, now over 120 Whole Foods. There's been a lot that you've had to lean on the inside, the stuff that people can't see, right? The faith.
Absolutely.
And in order to get to this level, you've leaned so much on your faith and your spirituality.
Ain't no other way.
Yeah.
For me, there's no other way. I mean, absolutely, unequivocally, there's no other way. I think that, you know, there's been times where I find myself in tears, you know, just from the sheer weight of what's being built, with no blueprint, with no, like, hey, go do this, with no advisors, with no board, just being able to just have your own brain to create something from thin air, void of faith. I find it to be impossible. I find it to be extremely impossible. And so I'm constantly talking to God. I'm asking him to, you know, show me what I can't see.
Yeah.
Let me hear what I can't hear. You know, teach me what I don't know. Who do I need to spend time with? And I know that it's real because then it'll happen. Because those prayers, when I go to sit and listen, I'll start to identify like, oh, I was talking to you about that.
Yeah.
And so faith has been a huge part. And over 10 years, I've gotten to see my faith maybe start here, and it's stretched.
Yeah.
It's stretched. The thing that would knock me off my square in year 1, in year 2, it's changed, you know, because I got 30 team members. I don't call my team employees, but I got 30 team members that I'm responsible for now. And the trials of the turnover in this type of a business, it can wear on you. You know, it can really, really start to feel personal. Like, oh, you quitting? You only been here 2 months. What is it?
Yeah.
But you kind of learn. You build, you know, the elasticity in your faith, and you build this, you know, this gentle callus that says like, oh, that's a part of it, but only through faith.
Yeah, the gentle callous. I think when we talk about this new generation, we talk about the Gen Zers, we talk about even, you know, the alpha generation that's coming up, my little nephew, you know, there's a lot to be said, right? And oftentimes it's said that Gen Z lacks the stick-to-itness, right? That to build that callus, right? They're like, oh, this ain't working, I'm gonna jump ship. I know you've had to have those moments when you thought about quitting along the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What did you tell yourself?
Well, I'll say that from two different angles. You know, that population, you know, I employ.
Well, I mean, come on, I got like a team. They listening now. They not even in the room. They and they Gen Z. Yeah.
And so I got this young lady, and she's brilliant. She's got a beautiful spirit, but when things get difficult in the store, like if we get super busy, there's this beautiful black running club that comes in. But when they come in, it's like, oh, it's 30 people standing in front of me. It's 40 people standing in front of me. You know, that portion, her attitude comes out. And so me wanting to give her that before she goes wherever she goes next, like, is very, very important to me, because it's, you know, they think that these difficult moments are shielded by attitude, and it's like it's not. And just you not working here is not going to teach you that for the next place.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling my team as we talk about her, you know, like, hey, I got a 19-year-old niece. I remember she got an attitude with me off of this, you know? And so I see the connectivity in her, and I'm like, we got to give her that. We got to give her the ability to withstand these moments of pressure, and not resort to, I'm going to put attitude in front because of this pressure. Mm-hmm. And so it's our job to give them that stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah.
Because we got it. Like my parents, they, you know, it's different. It's different. They don't know nothing about switches or none of that, right? And we do. And so we have to give them that in our gentle way. And I think that's a really, really big part of my calling, is to make sure that I hold space for people that are part of my team. And even if they're not going to retire with us, let me give you what I see you're going to need as a through line.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about it from that way. But then the stick-to-itiveness on my side, is that what you said?
Yeah, yeah. Because I know you've had some moments. 10 years.
Yeah.
There've been some moments that you didn't gone in that closet, closed that door by yourself, and said, "I can't."
Yeah. There's so many things that that give me the ability to keep stepping during those moments, because they come where it's like, oh, I don't want to hear another this or talk about another that. Those moments come. But for one, my business right now is located on Troost Avenue. And many, many, many years before you or I even existed, this was a 365-acre plantation. And 40 slaves tended to fruit trees on this ground. 40 slaves tended to fruit trees from this land. And then here I am, 40 years old, and I sell fruit juice in a manner that's dignified, that's noble, that brings people together, that evokes joy, that's not forced. What a privilege.
Yeah.
And so I don't carry that lightly. I don't carry the ability. My grandmother's face is the only face that exists on the marketplace anywhere for a cold pressed juice product, where we've been shown that, like, this Kool-Aid man, this pitcher with this this great disposition, this girl with these pigtails with this great disposition, this guy in this colonel's outfit with this great disposition, this king with this great disposition, this clown with this great disposition. We've been shown that that's the image. That's the example. That's the image that our kids will know. That's the image that we knew to be something that we want. And now I get the opportunity to come through and redefine that using my grandma's face. I got to keep stepping.
That is so good. That is so good. Because where there is a will, there is a way. But the other side of that is when we know from whence we've come, right? We know the shoulders that we stand on.
Absolutely.
And when we honor the shoulders that we stand on, it makes the height that we get to that much more spectacular. It makes it that much more amazing, that much more beautiful, right? Because we are standing on the shoulders of people who picked fruit on the land that now black man
forced to pick fruit.
Listen, under inhumane conditions,
Absolutely.
barbaric conditions.
Absolutely.
And now you get to change that. That story gets to be told in a very different way.
Absolutely.
But that's knowing, right, who you are, what you come from, that legacy, right? And so even I think too, when you think about your own legacy of what you're going to leave on this land that people once sold, once picked fruit, and now you sell fruit juice. You know, you are a father, you are a husband. And so what do you want your children to know about the work that you put in? What do you want your children to understand about the legacy that you're building?
I want my boys to understand that the way we see things is not the way they have to remain. And they might not identify with that in the same way that I am. I consider myself to be a healthy developer. I want to see incremental change to make healthier existence possible for people that look just like us in the spaces that they exist, not running and creating it in spaces that they were never meant to be or step foot in. And so I want my boys to know that if you see it this way and there's an opportunity for it to be that way, you have to put the footsteps in.
Yeah.
There's nobody to point to. Something I say all the time is they shouldn't. Like, we hear people like, oh, they should go and somebody need to pick that trash up. Somebody need to help such and such. Somebody, they should. And they don't exist. And so I want them to know that we check they at the door and we realize it's us.
Yeah.
So I hope that through all of the different touch points, through the business, through the philanthropy, that they see that their dad was somebody that didn't accept. Like, the status quo was just not gonna, even if I have to die trying to change it, like, we're gonna change it and we're gonna move the needle with limited resources, with whatever circumstances we come from. It's still our job. There's nobody to point to.
Yeah.
That's what I want them to know more than anything, because they might be passionate and likely will be passionate about something totally different, but hopefully it's something that they feel that they can incrementally improve for more than just themselves.
Yeah. You are the person you've been waiting on. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's that part. Let's talk about the philanthropy, because of this juice brand, you are in schools, you advocate in the community for health and wellness, this freedom of health, this radical decision to be healthy. So I want you to lean into that conversation about the work that you're doing, not just in the juice bar, but in the community.
Okay. When I started the business, I just started truly and wholly wanting to honor my grandma, realizing that, dang, my grandma don't get to meet my sons, or she didn't get to see me graduate college or do any of these things because of food. And starting to go to juice bars from across the country and realizing that I wasn't the customer. Like, I was just a transaction. It was in and out. It was very, it wasn't warm. There was no warmth. It was cold. It was just like, all right. And I had the disposable income, but I started getting into it. And I realized that, these places don't exist for us. They didn't build this with us in mind. And so they can't see me when I come in here. I want to create something that sees everybody, that lets everybody know that it's okay, like that lets them feel valued beyond just like your $10, your $20. And so I started in that way, wholly, but I didn't realize that kids would become an audience. Like, hey, Chris, can you come talk to... Hey, Chris, can you come? Hey, Chris, can you come? And I'm like, like, this is unforeseen, and that started to evolve, and Ruby Jeans started to be a conduit to community. It started to be a conduit to change, to improving circumstances. My grandmother's story, it started to elevate stories in other people and help people see themselves in a way that they hadn't, because health is bougie. Historically, it's exclusive.
Yeah. And you made it accessible, because I think there are so many people who say it costs too much. It's too healthy to eat right. It's too healthy. Mm-hmm. It's too expensive to not eat healthy. It is too expensive to not make better choices.
It's going to cost you
Yeah.
once now.
Yeah.
So if you pay the cost now, it's going to cost you once. But later, it's going to cost double because it's going to cost you and your family.
Yeah.
And that's some of the conversation we were having before we started. You know, that burden is now shifted because you said it was too expensive today
Yeah.
to choose a healthier existence.
Yeah.
Now you're making your family, they have to pay a secondary cost.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Do you get pushback from when you go into the community to talk about health and wellness? What's the pushback that you get?
I don't get much pushback anymore.
That's so good.
I don't get much
Yeah.
pushback anymore because I never started like, hey, will you buy my juice for the next 39 minutes? You know, you can get 2 for the price of 1. I don't.
Or if you drink my juice for 30 days, all your problems will go away.
That's not what I'm on, you know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, I've been able to just tell my grandmother's story. You know, I've been able to talk about the pain of losing her and my great-grandmother in the very hospital and how that made me realize, you know, there's something more. There's something more. And so when I tell through story, like, then it's received well because I'm not just talking about her. I'm talking about everybody in this room got a Ruby Jean. Every single one of us.
Yeah.
And that would be the case even if everybody in this room wasn't Black. Food-related illnesses, that's the #1 killer of people. And so allowing people to identify, you know, their family and their lineage and the jeopardy it's in based on the food choices we make or the lifestyle choices we make has always made it a warm receipt. And my hands are in the mud in Kansas City.
Yeah.
I mean, they all through the mud. And so Kansas City shows me a lot of love. You know, there is no way that Ruby Jeans would be what it is today and what I see in my mind, what it will be tomorrow without Kansas City.
Yeah.
So Kansas City is, man, rocked with me from the beginning.
Yeah. What's the bigger vision? What's the big vision that you're looking forward to?
Ruby Jeans is a global brand. When people see my grandmother's face in a very contradictory sense, because she didn't know about health. She didn't know about a healthier lifestyle. She didn't eat healthy a single day in her life. She didn't walk around our neighborhood. She let food and her circumstance kill her. But I want people to see her face and identify with reality and just a healthier, more incremental approach to health from a global perspective. And I believe her story is a mechanism that will change many, many lives. Like just intentionally by them being able to see like, oh, Auntie Brenda, oh, Uncle Earl, oh. So I want them to see themselves. That's a mirror. My grandma's face is right there, but that's a mirror. That is a mirror, and I want that mirror to reach this entire planet.
Yeah. You said incremental changes. What are some things that people how can they implement incremental changes in their everyday life that they can see some real health changes? And you are not a doctor, so for all the people who gonna say, he ain't no doctor, he ain't no doctor. So shut your mouth, okay? I already know you're gonna get in the comments. He ain't no doctor. What study? What did he, what medical journal? Yeah.
No, you know, I think that in general, the health industry is viewed as like an absolute, right? You are healthy or you are not.
Yeah.
And I think that's the first shakeup. It's like the ER is super important. Healthier. Healthier. Just a little bit. And I think rest is one that I battle. Like sometimes it's hard to shut this down.
Yeah,
so,
4:00 in the morning. Yeah.
But that's my special time.
Yeah.
That's my special time. That's between 4 and 7. I can get more done than I can get in a full day because ain't nobody messing with me.
What time you going to bed, Chris?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, it ranges from like 9:30 to 11:30.
Yeah.
You know, my wife might be talking about something. It might go longer. You know, but 4:00 I have to get up because that's the thing that sets it apart. That's where I can hear. I've been praying. I've been talking to God all day.
Yeah.
All day. I'm talking to him constantly, but I never have time to hear. And so 4 a.m. allows me to hear. But incrementally, I think sleep, super important. Super, super important. Going outside, I cannot get my family to do this with me. They think I'm like a hippie or somebody weird. I've been taking rain showers.
Okay.
And I know it sounds like
You've been taking your soap outside and getting in the rain, or you just been
no
going
soap.
out in the rain and get the rain showers?
Going out in the rain in
I love
in my
that.
shorts, washing my hair, washing my beard, washing my skin, barefoot in my grass, just being free in it. Because we always was like dodging the rain.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
it's raining outside.
Yeah.
But that's something that's free,
Yeah.
that's available to us, that's, to me, it's a game changer. I want you to do it. You ain't gonna do it.
No, I'm in the rain all the time. I got locks. Okay, so because my hair, I don't care about my hair getting wet.
Okay.
Like I'm not one of those girls. I'm a grounding girl. I was out at the ranch this weekend at my family's ranch. Barefoot in the grass, sitting in the sun. My brothers are taking pictures. Like Brandi is like the biggest kid. I'm walking barefoot. I am laying in the sun, in the grass.
See, I don't think that we do that largely. I don't think that that's a broad thing that's happening in our community. And so I think being outside, getting our feet connected to the earth is super important, and walking. Because gyms are like they're barriers. Oftentimes gyms are barriers, like, oh, I don't got time to get there. Oh, I got to look like this when I'm there. Oh, such and such gonna be there.
I gotta have my right outfit.
And so walking is something that I hold near and dear to my heart, because I'm by myself. I'm out in nature. I can think, if I need to take a call, I can. I try not to, but I'm moving the whole time. And so if you want to meet with me, typically, if you're like, oh, Chris, I think you got something in that big head of yours that I need, come walk with me. I
tell people that all the time, Chris. Like, I walk the park. Like, my goal this month is to get 10,000 steps every day, right? I have not, most days I've gotten 10,000 steps, but, yesterday I was like, I got 3.85 miles done, and I said, baby, I can't. Because now I started walking with my weighted vest. I'm a middle-aged woman. You know what I'm saying? If you see me out, just know, oh, she's over 40. She's got her vest on. She's got her weighted vest. Listen, but I tell people all the time, come meet me at the park. Come take a walk with me.
Absolutely.
That's like a date for me. At this point, getting to know somebody, and y'all know we talked about my dating stuff offline. But getting to know me, you need to come walk with me.
And it's productive.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm, I don't want to, people talk about don't say no to the meeting. You've heard that, say no to some of these meetings, like coffee meetings. And I agree with that, but I think embrace it, especially if people want advice from me. I think that's why I'm here. Younger people or whoever it is. But you're going to have to do it moving. We got to walk. Yeah. And so then now, yes, I'm nourishing you, but I'm also still nourishing myself. Breathing.
Yeah.
Breathing. I discovered square breathing. Have you?
I don't know. Square breathing?
Square breathing. Deep breaths of 4 seconds around a box. So I'm breathing in. I'm holding it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm breathing out.
I don't think I've ever done it. Yeah.
It'll reset you. Square breathing is something that I have in my toolbox, because it ain't always like, oh, I'm so grounded and so peaceful. Sometimes it's like, oh,
duck in a bucket. Yeah.
Like, what happened? Who did what? Who said what? Especially fighting against racist systems, breathing has been very, very important for me. And then, of course, juice.
Yeah.
Juice, especially, I'm busy, and so this is not something that I'm just selling and pushing. No, I drink juice. It's concentrated. It's quick. I can get my nourishment, and I don't gotta go clean a juicer. I don't gotta go.
Yeah.
And so some of those things are very good for me. Walking, breathing, rain showers, grounding, sleeping more. I'm working on that one.
They're going to be like, rain showers. This Negro out here in the rain with
my neighbors think I'm crazy. I know that I'll be out there just I'm serious. And I need it. I'm rubbing my legs, I'm getting I got my downspout, catching the water from my plants. But it's something that I didn't grow up with. And it's a gift. So whoever, if you listening, go take a rain shower.
I love that. I am not one of those black women who runs from the rain. They literally, people be like, if I don't have an umbrella, I don't care. It does not, it's just a little water. It's all right. But I saw this interview with this guy who was in prison for 20-some years, right? He did Oprah. And he said he never got to experience rain the entire time he was incarcerated. And so now, because he's free, every time it rains, he goes outside. Because he said, you don't know what it's like to not to be able to experience the rain.
Oof.
And I think that's that thing that people don't really understand. Is like, there might be a moment where you don't get to experience this at all. And you're going to find so much beauty and so much power in the rain.
Yeah, and it's, it's metaphoric because, like, when you can accept that, like when you can like take the inhibition away. I have family members. My niece is in town. She's staying with me, and she like, nah.
Why are you out here in the rain? What is going on?
I ain't got her to do it all summer. I got her to put her feet on the soil, but it's just I've had a couple of people do it, and they call me like, man, thank you. And I'm teaching my boys
because it's electric. It really it's the electricity of the earth. It is so. This weekend I was grounding. I was walking around the ranch, no shoes, no nothing. And one of the white guys that was out there, he was like, I don't do this on my property. Like he was like, because I kind of let the grass grow up a little higher and, and I'm not spraying and da-da-da. An hour later, we were all sitting up in the pavilion. He was out there in the grass, laying out in the sun. I was literally like, I see you, friend.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Sharing freedom.
Yeah.
That's our
But
obligation.
it is.
You're sharing that freedom with them. I mean, these trees, you don't see nobody watering trees. They're just waiting on the rain.
They're just waiting on the rain.
And when it comes, it's fine. And so if the trees can be nourished and they can outlive all of us over and over and over again, and that's what they're sourcing from, give me some of that.
Yeah, give me some of that. We talked about marriage because you've been married for 3 years, and so much has changed because of marriage in your business. And I want you to talk about that because especially when the men come on the show, and talk about how marriage has elevated them and changed their lives. I want you to lean into that because there's been a lot of ups and downs over 10 years, but 3 of those years you've been married. Yeah.
So my wife, I love her. Her name's Tania. Hi, babe. I consider her to be my flower power because, again, I don't have now with the nonprofit, I have a board, but building this business over years, there's no board. There's nothing above my brain other than Jesus Christ, to channel everything that I create through every single thing. And so having a wife, you gotta listen. You're a natural sounding board.
Will over here is giving you the high five right now. Thumbs up. Will is giving you the thumbs up. Yeah.
But like being able to have someone that can hear something, and then it starts to bloom, and you're like, ooh, it's been a blessing. And so I call her my flower power, and she's been able to help round out corners. Where it's like sharp turns with me, she's been able to soften some things, like seeing some things that I can't see.
Yeah.
But the flip side is I'm building a Black-owned health brand from scratch that I see as a global brand. I'm building a Black-owned health brand from scratch that I see as a global brand. And in order to do that, it's rigorous, it's tedious. It takes a lot of me.
Yeah.
There's travel, there's lack of sleep, there's this, there's that, and it's a lengthy list. And so the sheer weight that's on my shoulders, even as I speak right now, there's no human way that she could ever relate to what is on these shoulders. It's impossible. She's not in my being. And so finding that balance of, what's wrong? And I'm quiet, and then I don't even know where to start. If I start to open these cascading windows that are in my spirit and my mind right now, that will overwhelm me. And so finding that balance of shielding her from the pressure, from the sacrifice that I've chosen to make, that God has given me the faith to make, it's an ongoing learning lesson because there's times that I'm processing so much and she just wants to know, like, what's up with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, shoot, I
I don't know.
I don't even
Yeah.
know where to start, because you don't really want to hear all this, because these property taxes and these things and these this and these that, you can't really understand it. And so I'm finding my way, and we are finding our way together. I think our communication is something that we're constantly working on. We're constantly improving. She's trying to understand me. Shoot, I'm trying to understand me.
Yeah.
So it's an ongoing journey, but I'm grateful to have somebody on that journey with me that I truly think believes in me, that believes that what I see is actually possible. As long as I know that she can see that this faith is real, that what I see is real, and she believes in it,
Yeah.
we good.
Sky's the limit. What has marriage taught you about yourself?
I'm kind of selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's taught me that I'm kind of selfish, but I kind of have to be.
You did not think this before you got married.
That I was kind of selfish?
Yeah.
Heck no.
Really?
No.
Oh, I know I am.
My
Listen,
siblings tried to say it, but I thought they was, being siblings. But yeah, it's taught me that, because like we like what we like, when we like it, where we like it, how we like it, at the cadence of, like it need to be like this. But that's a whole nother human being. They don't see it that way. They wasn't raised like that. They mama from Iowa.
Yeah.
It's a whole separate thing. And so she's allowed me to have more compassion for someone else, because being in such close proximity, before her, I'm I'm out, I'm moving, I'm grooving. And so I don't have to have that consideration for someone to such a level. And so she's taught me I'm selfish and that I have to be, but I need to be aware of it and be sensitive to her as much as I can.
Yeah. What has fatherhood taught you about yourself?
You know how I was saying, like, my grandmother's face and the brand, I prayed that it becomes a mirror for people. Man, my boys are just mirrors for me.
Yeah.
When, my patience is low and, like, they're doing something, or they're, like, and my patience gets thin, like, I look at their face and I'm like, oh, more patience, more grace. They don't know. They have no clue. They're not attached to what you're doing or how busy you are, none of that. They have been a very, very important mirror for me to continue to work on me, to continue to say, okay, Chris, you got to do the work. That 4 a.m., I get up and I spend time with God. I spend time with myself, and I'm doing that to build capacity for them. And so it's taught me to be more graceful, more patient, more intentional. But patience is the big one, because these boys, and they got that fire, and I never want them to lose the fire. Like,
your one son, Levin, his name is
Lightning and Thunder.
Lightning and Thunder.
I set myself up for it, and he is every bit of Lightning and Thunder. All right, but they have given me the ability to be more patient, to be more graceful, and they've helped define purpose for me. They've really helped define purpose for me, because these hard days, somebody breaking in, somebody quit, some this, some that, the pandemic hit, a hard winter.
Yeah.
Like, they are watching me.
Yeah.
They're paying attention. Like, how you going to handle this one? Like, well, okay, there's another curveball. How you going to handle this one? And so I have somebody that is relying on me and relying on my actions to define their future. And that gives me purpose.
Yeah, that gives you purpose. I think we have time for a new segment that we are starting with you on the show. And this is truth or myth.
Okay.
Truth or myth. And you're going to either say the word truth or myth. And you can elaborate if you want to. Okay? You can't build wealth and stay rooted in community at the same time.
Myth.
You want to
elaborate?
You can if you want to, but we can keep going.
Well,
it can be rapid fire.
No, I think it's a myth. And through my lens, obviously, as we expand our brand and go wide, we're in just about 350 places right now with our juice, and we're just scratching the surface. And so I believe that God is going to create massive resources for me, for my family, and for my community as an extension of me. But But I only believe that that's possible because of how rooted I am and how rooted this brand is in my community. I don't think there's no delineation, there's no separation between those two. It's a requirement. So I think big time myth. And honestly, I think it's dangerous to even approach it otherwise, because it's possible to be wealthy without being rooted, but is it worth being wealthy without being rooted? And I just don't think so.
Yeah. Healthy food, truth or myth? Myth. Healthy food is only for rich people.
Myth.
Yeah.
Myth.
We don't even have to.
But we do. We do a little bit, because it's valid. We've gotten denied to accept SNAP benefits 2 different times. 2 different times we've been denied, and it's because we have too many prepared foods. There's a fried chicken and fish joint in my city that accepts SNAP benefits. And it's because they say, you buy, we fry. And so they've loopholed it around and found a way to put things that are killing our people through that system.
Wow.
And so there is this systemic approach to our existence that makes that statement valid, And we got the first ever healthy business on the east side of Kansas City in the history of Kansas City.
And you can't accept the SNAP benefits.
Can't accept.
But the fried chicken joint, the fried fish joint can.
But in the wealthier, more affluent neighborhoods, what we do is like that's been a thing since.
That's every corner.
Oh yeah, that's just the norm.
Yeah, that's the norm.
And so there's validity, but what they say, y'all cap.
It's all cap. Let BJ say it. My nephew cap. Truth or myth? Juicing is just a trend. It's not actually beneficial.
Ooh. That's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie. It's a bold-faced myth. I mean, it's just so many nutrients that you can get from drinking 1 bottle of juice, and we're just not going to sit down and spend the time to eat raw fruits and vegetables in such an abundance to really get what our bodies need.
Yeah.
And so, the beauty in what I do is that, like, I'm not a salesman. It's if you do it and you have some kind of like adverse reaction or you don't find benefit in it, I just don't see it happening, because all you're doing is flushing your body with fresh fruits and vegetables in its rawest, purest form at its freshest point. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. And it can be made to be trendy because of how the industry has approached it for so long, the spaces that it's been allowed in, the things that it's been attached to, the communities that it's been attached to. But, man, this juice got more black people drinking juice in the state of Missouri than ever before.
Come on. It's very beneficial. This ain't no trend. Truth or myth? If you didn't grow up with money, you'll never become a successful entrepreneur. Truth or myth?
It's a myth. I didn't grow up with money. My dad saw some peaks and valleys, and but I didn't grow up with money. I don't come from money. And I believe that I'm successful. And I'm so far from where I'm going, it ain't even funny, but I believe that I'm successful. I believe that my life has added value in such a magnitude that if I were to not make it back to Kansas City, that somebody's life has been altered for the better because of my existence. And I'm successful today.
Yeah.
Not coming from money.
Love that. Truth or myth? Black-owned businesses don't get the same opportunities as others.
Truth, but we got to keep taking up space. And I think that sometimes we use our blackness as a qualifier that's unnecessary. I don't want Ruby Jeans to be the best black-owned juice bar that ever existed, the best black-owned juice brand, the most intentional juice brand, the most edifying juice brand that has ever existed. I want Ruby Jeans Juicery to be the most edifying, most intentional, most impactful juice brand that has ever existed in these lands. With my blackness not being a qualifier, I'm a proud black man, and I stand on it. But you see me.
Yeah.
You see her.
Yeah.
That's already understood. Let's go and be the best.
I love that. Let's go and be the best. Last one. Truth or myth? Being purpose-driven in business means you have to sacrifice profit.
Oof. Being purpose-driven in business means you have to sacrifice profit. I would say that the net result is a myth, but I understand it. I've been serving my community through my business for the entire time I've been in business, giving juice here, giving here as I'm climbing a steep hill, a steep mountain. And so my heart has been siphoning off the progress of my business in incremental ways the entire time. And so finally, from a structure perspective, I created Ruby Jeans Foundation, and so that it has the appropriate home for that work to be done.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think it's true that you could sacrifice profit for purpose, but I think there's a way that you can do both in a more structured way, and it took me almost a decade to figure it out.
A lot of trial and error, a lot of bumping your head. I can
Absolutely.
only imagine. As we begin to close out this interview, Chris, one word you are committed to in this season of your life.
Truth.
Truth. Why?
Can I say the whole thing?
Yeah. We got plenty of time on this clock left.
Truth. So for the last 3 years, I've been working. I'll back up a little bit. I served on the Parks and Rec board in Kansas City for 2 years, and after George Floyd was murdered, I lived in this apartment right off of the Country Club Plaza, and even being from the hood originally, I had never felt this level of anxiety I felt with, a news van catching on fire, a photographer getting murdered at the other end, the clash between the police and the second wave of protests happening in the nighttime, brick coming through our front window of the apartment building, snipers, perched up at different spots, helicopters constantly buzzing overhead. And it gave me this feeling of like responsibility. And I had to ask myself, well, am I going to say we can't breathe? Am I going to say that? What do I do? And so as a Parks and Rec board member, I start kind of surveying the landscape, and J.C. Nichols, he's a big architect of segregation in America. The FHA adopted his practices. He built the most affluent neighborhoods in Kansas City, Missouri, wealthy neighborhoods that weren't meant for us. He's the architect. He's the one that made Troost Avenue the dividing line. And so I made an effort. I wrote a memo to my fellow commissioners, all the elected officials, and successfully renamed J.C. Nichols Parkway. It reverted back to Mill Creek Parkway. He had the most famous city of fountains is what Kansas City is. So when Monday Night Football, they're showing this fountain, it has always honored J.C. Nichols. And I got the opportunity to rename that. It has no name now. His street went away in this Mill Creek Park. So that was the first effort. I then got to be a part of honoring Dr. King, one of the last American cities to honor Dr. King with a street. I got to be a part of pushing that change forward. I'm in my third effort, and the effort is truth over Troost. This Benoit Troost, this guy that our city holds to such acclaim, he's hoisted up on this sign, and he looks down, and he's got this 11-mile stretch that divides our city still to this day. People are scared to come to Troost. Like, oh, don't go. I'll tell people where my locations are, and I'm like, oh, I got one at our primary location where we own the real estate is at 30th and Troost. And they'll clutch pearls like, oh. And then I'll say, well, I got one at Whole Foods as well, and it's in an affluent, and I won't say all that, but it's in, and oh, yeah, that's where I can go. So there's this fear, this stigma that's been attached to this entire portion of the city, this portion of the city that I'm from, that I'm raised in. And now still, in 2025, we're honoring this man because he was the first resident physician in Kansas City. He built the first hotel, but he did it on the backs of slaves. He has 6 enslaved people. He owned 6 people. And now here we are still honoring him. And that's all throughout these lands, right?
Yeah.
But what makes this critical is that there's division that's been perpetuated through our entire city, through my entire lifetime, that's just been allowed to be okay. And so 3 years ago, I set out on a mission to rename Truth Avenue to Truth Avenue, Truth, because I don't think it's noble to build a hotel when you did it on free labor, when you did it by owning people. And so I've been working to rename the street, and I've come against friction, this bloody win when George Floyd was murdered, and there was this guilt permeating the country. It's now gone. And so that wind that was at my back when J.C. Nichols' family even came out and said, hey, yeah, we agree, that bloody wind has subsided, and it's at my face. And so I'm walking into this wind day in and day out, trying to rename this stretch, not to think that it'll change our circumstances as Black people, but to say that the way things are, it's not the way that they have to be. And I'm going to live every single day of my life fighting for truth. Even if I don't see this happen, my boys are going to know that, hey, man, he went after truth. Even as a flawed, imperfect man, he still went after truth. So my word is truth.
Chris Goode, what an amazing, amazing life you are living. I am so honored to know you, so honored to share space with you, and much continued success with Ruby Jeans. We're going to see it everywhere, all around the globe. Thank you, Chris, so much. Vaught and Powers Talks, another good one for the books. Be sure to share this with someone who needs to experience more truth in their lives to elevate and raise their stake in this land in which we live. We all have a voice. Might as well use it. Until next time, I'm your girl, Brandi Harvey. Eat well. Give a damn. Move your body every single day. Peace.